and welcome back to more Zero Escape Virtues Last Reward. In the last episode, we solved puzzles in the laboratory, and today we are going to be getting Quark's bad ending. And the reason why we went into the laboratory last episode was because we needed to obtain a piece of information that we can use to our advantage in the Tenmyoji ending to bypass the second story lock. Because my original plan was to do the Tenmyoji ending second, because everybody on the internet told me to do the Tenmyoji ending second. Which is interesting, because they also said do the Clover ending first, which is impossibility, but whatever, I don't know. So, to fix it, we went to the laboratory to find the information we needed to bypass the story lock. I could go do that ending now if I wanted, but I want to get all the endings, including the bad endings, no matter how crappy they may be, because I want to fill out the full flowchart. So, we're going to finish out this playthrough, and then we'll jump back in time and go get the Tenmyoji good ending in the next episode. But for now, let's just keep moving forward and get the... And if you're wondering, why don't you just get the Quark ending, the good Quark ending right now? Two reasons. One, assuming... So number one, there's a story lock we have to bypass that we can't... we need to go do another path in order to bypass the story lock, so I can't do that. But even if I couldn't, the second thing is that I've been told to save this for as late as possible, so... To save the Quark ending for as late as possible, so... And that's my preamble out of the way. Let's just keep playing. And Ambidex Gate has been opened.
45 minutes remain until Ambidex Game polling closes.
Sorry, I went ahead and cracked it open a bit early.
Oh yeah, another thing. This guy stole the only the only cure, or the only medicine we have to cure Quark's infection, and he's holding it hostage to force us to vote ally. Only problem there is that we're actually not going to vote ally, we're going to vote betray, because we need to get the bad ending, so... Yeah, it's going to be bad. Dio. In one of his hands was a moon key. He twirled it around like a veteran gambler, grinned, and slid it back into his pocket.
You don't mind, right? I figured you and Clover would get up here right away. Besides, I thought it'd be best to get this done soon before you lose your nerve. I don't know about you. I'm really looking forward to the next round.
I glanced around the warehouse. Alice and Kay were back. As was Phi. And of course, Clover. Where's Tenmyoji and the rest of them?
They're in the infirmary.
We carried Quark to one of the beds. Tenmyoji and Luna are looking after him.
I see.
How's he doing? Well, it's hard to say. He seems to be sleeping soundly, but beyond that, there's really no way to know.
No change then, huh?
Right. So what was your room, Sigma?
A laboratory.
Is that so?
Did it look like the kind of place where they'd be researching viruses and DNA and those kinds of things?
Yeah, it did. Was there any of that Excelavir?
Yeah, so about that.
Don't tell those other idiots that you found some Excelavir in here. I hear one word about it, and the next thing you hear will be little bits of glass shattering on the floor.
My eyes flicked to Dio for a moment. No, nothing. Beside me, Clover bit her lip.
I see.
So how'd it go with you? Find anything interesting? Phi only shook her head. With a unison of movement that almost looked choreographed, Alice and Kay shrugged.
We still got about 40 minutes left until voting ends.
What are you gonna do?
I'm a little curious about that lab you found. I thought I might go take a peek at it.
I'll show you the way then.
That would be wonderful.
I think I'll go have a look at the room Alice, Kay, and Tenmyoji found. Never know. Maybe you missed something. Perhaps there's some Excelavir hidden somewhere in there.
Ha ha ha. Funny. What a bastard.
Then I shall take you there.
What about you two? Where are you going?
Well, I think I'll start by heading over to the infirmary to see how Quark's
Then
doing.
I will too.
Glad that's settled.
She nodded to Clover and they disappeared through the magenta door. Dio and Kay followed a few footsteps behind. So, another thing I'd like to mention really quickly, doesn't really have any impact on anything. Actually, two things. Number one, the fact that Sigma has no voice is really strange, and I don't know how I feel about it from a story perspective, but from a gameplay perspective, or I guess from a recording perspective, it's nice because one of the things with the 999 Let's Play is that I didn't get to have a whole lot of commentary outside of the escape room sections. I mean, I like to throw in a few comments here and there to keep things interesting, but generally speaking, it was a lot of the characters talking, so at least in this game, I can also provide my own commentary for what Sigma says. It's just strange that he doesn't have a voice in this game. The other thing is that I just want to clarify that all the questions I was bringing up in the last episode, I wasn't trying to criticize the game. and I'm not saying this in response to any comments or anything. I'm recording this episode right after the last one. I just want to say this is a blanket statement. I'm not, when I brought up those questions, I'm not trying to criticize the game or mention them as flaws. I'm just trying to be very transparent with the thoughts that are occurring in my head as I'm playing through this, all the theories I have, the questions about the plot, and how things are all going to come together. I don't know enough to properly criticize it yet. I'm really interested to see how this all goes. Just wanted to say that. Anyway, moving on. Okay then. Guess we should be going to.
Hold on. Show me that journal first. Dio told me about it. You wouldn't tell me anything about the lab, except that you found a journal with, his words, some sort of bullshit language. You said you had it, so I was hoping I could take a look.
Yeah. One sec. I dug the journal out of my pocket and handed it to Fi. She began to flip through the pages, her eyes quickly scanning each one.
This is Latin.
Latin? You mean you can read it?
With time and a dictionary.
So in other words, no.
Pardon me for not being able to translate a dead language on the fly. This looks like some kind of research log. It's not gonna be some sort of, I took the dog for a walk today. It was nice kind of stuff. I can understand a little of it. Mostly conjunctions and things like that. But most of these words I've never even seen before.
Fi started to leaf through the book again as she spoke. Then suddenly she stopped.
Wait. I can read this one. Page 216. This isn't research notes. It looks like a personal entry.
What's it say?
Don't rush me. This is gonna take a minute. Interesting. Alright, I think I got it. It looks like they're talking about Radical 6.
Of course they are. What are they talking? Why are they talking about that?
Not sure. Let me read it to you. Keep in mind I'm paraphrasing.
This is the unofficial translation. When the body is infected with Radical 6, the processing speed of the brain is reduced. If we assume the brain currently operates on a 1-to-1 basis with regards to time, Radical 6 reduces this to 1 to Radical 1/6, approximately 1 to 0.408. This means that for each... Oh, wait, that's why it's called Radical... Very... Very funny game. I don't know why I find this so funny, but clever. Oh god, why? I shouldn't find that. I should not find that as funny as I do. But I don't know. It's a math joke, so I guess it just appeals to me. This means that for each second that passes outside, the patient feels that only 0.408 seconds have passed inside. Therefore, when 1 second has passed inside, approximately 2.45 seconds or Radical 6 seconds have passed outside. In other words, when 10 seconds pass in the real world, the patient infected with Radical 6 would feel as if only 4 seconds had passed. This is why the virus has been termed Radical 6. Radical is another term for what is also known as the root operation, the function inverse of the taking of a power. In a less mathematical sense, it can also be used to refer to something that's extremely severe. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide. Alright. Okay. You know, sure. That's it. This is a virus. Yep, So, okay, two things. One, this perfectly falls in line with what we suspected, which is that it makes them go insane and want to kill themselves. Number two, so in this game, the bioterrorists wanted to create a virus to make people kill themselves. Why? The exact cause of this is unclear, and although there is as of yet no direct link between suicidal urges and the reduction in mental processing speed, many believe that they are not unrelated. Those infected with Radical 6 perceive the world to be moving at a fever pitch as if it were a video cassette being fast-forwarded. For instance, although the patient believes that only 10 seconds have passed, in fact 24.5 seconds have passed. Given the increased speed of input, maintaining the ability to observe and reason would become a Herculean task. Which, by the way, she's translating this incredibly well, like almost perfectly. One theory holds that the disparity in time perception causes the brain to be flooded with massive amounts of information, and able to keep up, it begins to fail. Whatever the cause, the infected have invariably attempted to take their own lives, which is arguably the most terrifying aspect. No, that is the most terrifying aspect of this virus. What do you mean? Research suggests that a targeted antiviral could kill or at least disable Radical 6, but we have been unable to develop one. It kind of reminds me of Rampancy from Halo 4. I mean, not exactly, obviously, but just because Rampancy in the Halo universe is basically just everyone has a different explanation for it, but the very simple way to explain it is basically, I think Shadows of Reach, which is the book that just came out a couple weeks ago, explains it best, which is that your thought process and ability to process information, it's an AI disease, to be clear, in the Halo universe. An AI's thought process begins, like, ability to process information and think logically, outgrows the neural matrix in which it was designed, so it literally starts to think itself to death and starts dividing exponentially to try to compensate for the reduced amount of space because of the shrinking, not shrinking, but the the insufficient space in the neural matrix. That's a very simplified explanation for it, but basically they put all their process into trying to think that they lose functionality to do anything else. So that's a really very oversimplification of it, and you can look more into it if you're interested. But that just kind of reminds me of that your brain slows down to the point where it begins to fail to function properly. It seems our best hope now is to harvest antibodies from someone with a natural immunity to the virus, because that works so well. Thus far, however, we have been able to locate a suitable subject, so I have continued my efforts to discover an alternative means of treatment. Given my current rate of progress, I predict that I will have a workable treatment within a decade or two. It is my fervent hope that humanity will be able to survive that long. The bodies of those dead from suicide are piled up along the roads leading into and out of town. Jesus Christ. The entire area reeks with the stench of decay, and the sky is filled with the constant buzzing of flies. At times, their swarms are so thick that I legitimately just got chills down my goddamn spine. Jesus Christ. At times, their swarms are so thick that when one passes, it feels as if a cloud is going over the sun. Good God. Every day I see more crows and rats are everywhere feeding on the dead. Ironically, the only healthy-looking creatures are the stray cats who have grown fat on a plentiful rodent diet. The few humans who survived the outbreak have been locked away by the government in underground shelters. I don't know how many were saved, but I fear only a handful. Their survival is the only hope that remains for the human race. Oh Lord, please, let their future be a bright one. I got some bad news for you, pal. We're trapped in the Nonary games. That's a lot of information. Now we know what the virus does to you, though. I mean, we kind of already knew that because we saw what it did to Quark. If you get infected, your brain slows down by the root of... So then we know that because I think one of the theories is that Clover was the one who killed everyone at the end of the Clover ending in this game. But I always, like, when I played that, my gut reaction was, okay, so if we saw earlier that Quark tried to kill himself, and everybody in this room tried to kill themselves, and then Sigma walked into the room to do the same thing, is it not logical to conclude that it was just a mass suicide by everybody there? So we already knew what the virus did, it's just, now it's confirmed by the journal. If you get infected, your brain slows down by the root of 1/6, that's, what, about 40%?
That isn't the important part. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide.
Yeah, you're right. That would explain why Quark was, well, trying to kill himself. Yeah, you don't need to remind us, game.
There are two other things in here that worry me. First, the part about how they haven't managed to develop a treatment for it yet. What do you make of that?
What am I supposed to make of it? Maybe they just hadn't found one when this journal was written. I mean, from what we know, there's a drug called Exalavir that cures it.
Exactly. But in the journal, it says it might take 20 years to make something like that.
Now you're catching on. Hold on a second. I'm getting confused. When was this thing even written?
December 29th. No year.
Well, there's no way it was written this year.
Yeah, probably not.
You're probably right, but not for the reasons you think you are.
Anyway, moving on. The second concern I have is about the underground shelters it mentions. The newspaper article said something about quarantining people too. After we read it, we all thought the same thing. What if this was one of those quarantine facilities?
I mean, so... the two parts of my brain. One part is saying, yes, there's a lot of... like, every room we've been in almost has had some kind of connection to hospital or quarantine or treatments or something like that. But then the other side is like, okay, but like, if people are being quarantined here, there's like a million other things you could do that don't involve deadly Nonary games. So, also, why would you even let people leave if that was the case? And if it's not officially done and it's just some psycho getting everybody in here to have fun with a Nonary game and it's not sanctioned by anybody, then why, like, what's the big answer I want to know is what's the state of the world? Because my theory is that this is some distant future, where, it's decades after the virus swept the planet and killed everybody, or I guess caused everybody to die would be the more appropriate term for that. And the clue for that is that no one seems to know when they were actually abducted, and the fact that there's cryogenic storage pods over there. And then there's this whole mission to Mars thing that just really confuses me. I don't know what the hell's going on with the Mars mission, but so then I'm thinking that what it's gonna be is it's gonna be Clover, Alice, and Sigma were the ones, because Sigma, from my memory, Sigma, Clover, and Alice were the only ones that could definitively remember being abducted in 2028. Phi might have been as well, and if she was, then that completely destroys that theory. But that's my running theory, because we know the two of them were abducted together. And if they were, then that means that they would be preserved for the future, because Clover is the same age she was back when the first, or I guess the second Nonary games happened. So it's just, it's a confusing mess to try to unravel, and we're trying to figure it out together, but I don't know, it's something.
But this journal seems to suggest the opposite. The few humans who survived the outbreak have been locked away by the government in underground shelters.
You're trying to say this place might be one of those underground shelters, which would mean we're all supposed to be uninfected. We would have been thrown in here to keep us safe.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to say for sure at this point, but it seems possible.
The other thing is that why would you bother freezing everybody for all those years just for the sake of having the Nonary Game? Unless you deliberately wanted to wait until after, like, unless you were one of the bioterrorists and you knew that it was going to kill everyone and you needed to wait till afterwards to do it. But I don't know why, because you'd also have to freeze your, unless, I guess maybe that's why the AI is there, because they can't physically be alive for it to happen. But that's the thing, it's like, we don't know what else, we don't know, because maybe they could still be alive. We don't know. Maybe it could be hundreds of years in the future, in which case there's no way they'd still be alive. Maybe it's only like 20 years in the future, or 30, in which case they could be alive, but not like too old to the point where it's, I don't know. I'm trying to reason things out, but we don't really have enough. The problem is I think I'm just trying to solve it too early. We don't have enough information, but my mind is naturally curious about this stuff, so I'm just trying to piece together information as it comes about. Quark's been infected, right?
Maybe the virus got in somehow.
That would be bad.
Just think about it for a minute. If this is one of those shelters, a lot of things start to make sense.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of things that don't make sense when you use that theory.
Maybe we've been here for a long time.
Well, yes, that we all kind of knew that.
Like, maybe they put us to sleep somehow.
Yep.
Made us sleep for years,
Yep.
maybe even decades.
Yep.
While we were sleeping, the pandemic that the newspaper article talked about happened. And whoever had this journal made this entry.
But the other thing is that you need more than just the 3 pods to freeze everybody, which means that some of the people here would have been kidnapped in the future and not in the past, which just raises even more questions. And then once the antiviral treatment was finished, they woke us up.
It's all just speculation, but...
No, that doesn't make sense. I mean, it seems like a pretty plausible scenario, but we were all captured before the pandemic started, right? Well, not confirmed.
Yeah.
And how would they have put us to sleep for that long? How would they have known to do that? But most importantly, why the hell are we playing the Nonary Game if the point of this place to save us? Throwing a bunch of people into a game that might kill them is a pretty weird way to protect them from a pandemic.
Yeah, you're right.
See?
We don't have enough information to make any real conclusions.
I mean, to be clear, like, what Phi and Sigma just said basically is just a summary of what I was just ranting about for 20 minutes.
I think we should see if we can find anything else.
But, you know, I like to think anyway. Phi barely finished speaking before she took off for the magenta door. Hey, weren't you coming to the infirmary with me?
Change my mind. You can tell me about Quark later.
What? And with that... Oh, okay, bye. Nice knowing you. She was gone. Man. I let out a long, tired sigh and started off toward the infirmary. I was just, sorry, I laughed because I was just reminded of the picture of, like, the horse standing on the beach, like, overlooking the ocean, and it just says, man. How's he doing?
He seems to be stable, as far as I can tell.
Still sleeping.
I see. Mind if I have a look?
Please, go ahead.
I made my way around the partition to the side of Quark's bed. The journal and the thing Phi and I talked about would definitely need to be addressed, but for the moment, the AB game was what I needed to concentrate on. Lives were at stake. Mine and Quark's. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide. If the journal was telling the truth, then as soon as the anesthetic wore off, Quark would go insane again. What if we weren't able to restrain him a second time? What if he managed to kill himself before we got to him? Or perhaps he'd just get out of the infirmary and go hide somewhere. On the other hand, it wasn't like we could keep anesthetizing him forever. There was only one way to save Quark, and that was with Exalavir. Unfortunately, Dio had stolen it. If we wanted to get it back, Clover and I would have to vote ally. If I did, there was an excellent chance I would end up dead. The question was, then, what to do? Sacrifice myself to save Quark, or keep quiet about the danger he was in to save myself? It was so faint I almost didn't hear it.
Grandpa.
He shifted a little and then fell silent again. It was enough, though. What on earth had I been thinking? How could I have even considered letting a child die in my place? You see, pal, we need to get the bad ending, so, I mean, we don't need to, but I see little point in, like, stopping this, because, like I said, I like to see these pass through the completion. I don't want to just jump around all over the place. I want to start a playthrough, see that through to its completion, get the ending, and then jump to a new one, and then do the same thing over and over, instead of just jumping around just to get all the story locks. So, I'm trying to keep this in some sort of a cogent order, maybe unsuccessfully, but I'm doing my best here. Suddenly my cheeks felt hot with embarrassment and disgust. That I considered letting Quark die for a minute was pathetic. I mean, okay, let's be clear. obviously we would vote ally if this was actually happening in real life. But we gotta get the bad ending, you know? We gotta fill out the flowchart, we gotta get the bad ending, so we gotta vote betray. There was only one choice. There had only ever been one choice. No way I was gonna leave Quark to die. My hands tightened into fists as I looked down at him. And any uncertainty I felt before was gone. I knew what I had to do. Yeah, about that.
10 minutes remain until Ambidex game polling closes. All players, please enter your votes. If no vote is recorded before the deadline has passed, any non-voting parties will automatically ally.
Looks like it's almost time. You two should head back.
What about you?
Not going. I'm worried about Quark.
But you're a solo. If you don't vote...
I'll automatically ally. I know. I heard the voice on the intercom just like you.
What are you gonna do if Kate and Alice vote betray?
Nothing, I suppose. Just means I lost that round. I'd just be voting ally anyway. You know who my opponents are, right? Alice only has one BP left. If I pick betray and they chose ally, I'd kill her. I'm not so desperate to escape that I'm gonna kill someone for it. And even if I was, I can't leave Quark behind. You see? Doesn't matter if I go into the AB room or not. My vote's the same either way.
Temioji's mind was made up. Trying to persuade him to leave would have been pointless. Alright. Take care of Quark.
Of course. You worry about yourself.
Let's go.
Okay.
Luna and I headed out of the infirmary, leaving Temioji and Quark behind. Don't show me the map again. Don't do it. Okay, thank God. See, you can just skip back to the warehouse. You don't have to show me going through the map every single time. When we got to the warehouse, we found everyone else waiting for us. Well, not quite everyone. One other person was missing. Hey, where's Dio?
Take a look at the doors.
They're all closed. When we came in here before, the one on the far right was open.
And that would mean...
That he went in, I guess.
Exactly.
That bastard. He probably been worried I might try to take the X elevator from him by force, so he hid himself inside the AB room. What a coward. I made up my mind to choose ally no matter what. Yeah, no you didn't. A part of me had still considered trying to jump Dio if he dropped his guard. Now we made sure.
Where's Tenmyoji?
Oh,
Luna explained Temioji's choice.
Well, I guess that means I don't have to worry about him picking betray.
right. What will you guys be choosing then?
Ally, of course.
Because my BP is 6, I assume.
Yes, as long as Tenmyoji votes ally, I can't choose betray. If I do, K's BP will go up to 9.
But what if he forces you?
You needn't worry. I would never do something so crass.
Really?
Of course.
Then you don't need to go in there.
Excuse me?
Alice can vote by herself. Then we don't have anything to worry about, right?
Well, I apologize, but I'm afraid I can't agree to that.
Why not?
I just can't. Shall we go, Alice?
Hey, hold on a minute.
What great justification. Why can't you do this thing that would benefit everybody if you claim to have no ulterior motive? Well, because I just can't, that's why. Great, what a brilliant defense. Kate continued briskly toward the AB room if he simply hadn't heard Phi. Alice scrambled to follow him, perhaps concerned that he would lock her out. Only seconds later, they disappeared into the third room from the left.
I hope Alice is going to be okay.
Well, there's nothing we can do now. If Kay told the truth, she'll be fine.
5 minutes remain.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Time's almost up. Come on, Luna.
Right.
They headed off at a trot toward the second room from the right and were soon out of sight inside it. Alright, Clover, time for us to go.
Okay, right behind you.
I sighted myself and headed toward the leftmost AB room. By the way, not that it has any bearing on the situation, but my 3 favorite characters are still Phi, Tenmyoji, and Clover. And the only reason Clover's on the list is because she was a character from the last game. Phi and Tenmyoji, I still stand by them being the 2 most intelligent people in the game so far. Sigma's nowhere even close on that list. So, yeah, I have those are the 3 people that I trust the most. Everyone else is fine, you know, Luna's fine. Obviously Quark's fine. Dio's not fine. Kay's fine. Alice, I have questions about Alice, but... questions beyond what the game has already answered, so I'm sure we'll get more about that in her ending, but anyway, the Ambidex game will now begin. Yeah, we know. Alright, let's begin. Now we get the part where Clover tries to tell us to ally, and then we tell her, nah.
What are you gonna do?
I don't really have a choice, do I? There's only one thing I can do. I'm gonna choose ally.
You can't! You'll die!
Well, you never know. Just because Dio told us to ally doesn't necessarily mean he's going to pick
Do
betray.
you really think a jerk like that is going to choose ally if he doesn't have to? No. No way. He's got 6 BP right now. If he picks Betray, then he'll have 9 points.
Well, what about you?
Huh?
You got 6 BP too, right? If Dio chose Ally and we chose Betray, then you have 9 BP.
What? No, that's not... I didn't even realize that until you brought it up. I'm just trying to tell you that Dio is going to pick Betray. That's who he is.
And I'm trying to tell you that I've made up my mind. That's who I am. So the only choice is Ally. It's the only chance we have to get that medicine back. I wonder how the game's gonna... Because, like, Sigma's just saying Ally. Gotta pick Ally. How is the game gonna react when I pick Betray? It's gonna be like... we didn't account for this. I guess I just had a sudden change of mind. I don't know.
That's why Dio called you an IG. What makes you think he's going to give us the Excelavir, even if you do what he says?
Maybe he won't, but I can guarantee that he'll destroy it if I pick Betray. That's who he is.
Fine. If you aren't gonna listen to me, then I guess I don't have a choice. I'll be pushing that button.
Yeah, huh? Before I realized what was going on, Clover ducked past me and ran toward the voting machine. No, stop! I snatched her by the arm and hauled backward with all my strength. She's a secret agent. You're dead, buddy.
Ow!
Sorry, guess that was a little too hard, huh?
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
She's a secret agent. How could you have possibly overpowered her?
You can't just throw a girl around like that.
Well, you're the one who tried to trick me.
But you're gonna die. Dio's going to kill you. You can't do this. I don't want you to die.
You don't really have a reason to care about me. Sigma's kind of a piece of crap. Remember earlier when he was calling you an idiot? Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it? Remember earlier when he was insulting your intelligence in a non-joking manner?
10 seconds remain until Ambidex game polling closes.
Because let me tell you, I remember. Thanks. It means a lot to hear you say that, Clover. You didn't earn that at all. I gave her my best reassuring nod and turned to face the polling machine.
3.
Yeah.
2,
Just let me pick.
1.
Let me pick. All right. In case there's any ambiguity here, I would absolutely pick Ally if this were a real life situation. But we gotta get the bad ending. We gotta see what it's like. So we're gonna pick Betray. And I cannot wait to see how the game's gonna, what dialogue Sigma's gonna have to justify it.
Round 2 of the Ambidex game has been completed.
Maybe they'll say like, well, Clover said she'd miss me, so I had to do it for her.
Results will be displayed in the warehouse. Thank you for your participation. Ambidex gates now opening.
Also, we haven't seen Zero in a while. Which I guess we didn't in the main, in the first game either. But I don't know, I guess I just thought that we would see that the Zero more because, you know, it's not just a voice recording this time, it's an actual AI construct with a model and animations and all that, so I guess I just thought that they'd be more prevalent throughout the story. I don't know. Clover and I walked slowly out of the AB room. Dio glanced over at us and see he exited his own room. I looked away before he could make eye contact.
Sigma, why? After all that stuff you said.
I can't wait to see how he justifies this one.
I mean, it's not like I'm criticizing you. I think you made the right decision.
I hate the fact that my mouse doesn't go off screen automatically whenever I start progressing the text. Sorry.
You don't need to apologize. I think I would have chosen Betray if I was in your position.
Oh, you obviously would if you were campaigning for me too.
We'll find another way, alright? We just have to keep an eye on Dio. As soon as he gives us an opening, we take it.
I mean, yeah, that's the other thing too, is that if, like, you could just tackle him and get the vial back, like, he literally cannot, especially since he went into the room ahead of all of you, just tell everyone, hey, he has something that can save Quark's life. If we all gang up on him, he cannot stop all of us. He literally cannot overpower all of us.
And I'm sure Alice will help us too.
Especially when we have 2 trained secret agents on our team. Let's not forget that one. Did you tell her?
It's okay. We can trust Alice. There's no way she told him. Anyway, let's go check the results.
Just get Alice's help and beat him up and get the vial of Excelavir back. Yeah, it's kind of what I thought would happen, but wait, so Kay and Alice voted Betray. What?
Results from round 2 of the Ambidex game will now be displayed.
So my immediate assumption is that K would have done something because that's why he was obsessed with going into the room. But that also seems like a writer's dream for a red herring.
Please
so let's
check your
yeah. Let's see what everyone has to say about this, because that's intriguing.
Hey, what the hell is this?
Sorry, I decided to choose betray.
So you don't care what happens to Quark?
What kind of a cold-hearted bastard are you?
Jeez.
Please, just give it back.
Hey, Sigma, what are you talking about?
You should have told them this beforehand. We found the Exalavir in the laboratory.
Dio stole it.
What?
You mean he has it right now?
Nah, I don't have it.
What?
Well, I won't have it in about 2 seconds.
Why would you warn us of that? The moment the words left his mouth, knew what he planned to do. No, don't. I thought toward him and spoke, but it was already too late. Dio snatched the vial out of his pocket, brought it up. You couldn't stop him? None of you could stop him! Really? Not a single one of you has the reaction time to stop him from throwing it to the... He's in his shirt. He has to open his shirt, get it out of his shirt, and then throw it to the ground. And in the seconds in which he did that, especially considering the fact that he James Bond monologued what he was gonna do, none of you could stop him. Really. Also, why didn't you just tell him this ahead of time? You bastard.
What are you doing?
A promise is a promise. If you'd chosen an ally, this never would have happened.
If you didn't steal the medicine, this never would have happened.
Blame someone? Blame yourself.
Says the man who stole the medicine! You're the worst! I had enough. Something snapped in my brain. Bastard. I let out a roar and leapt forward. Only to be stopped short by a firm hand on my arm. I was fine.
Hold it.
Why are you stopping me?
Because this isn't the time for that.
Huh? What do you mean this isn't the time
Look
for...
at the number 9 door.
Kay was indeed standing in front of the door. What is he...
No!
Yep, that's what I thought. Okay. His VP is 9.
What?
Yeah, I kind of figured that was... Yep. Something we're all running toward... Is every bad ending just a different variation of someone can open the number 9 door and then we all stop them and then someone runs out? I mean, I'm not expecting quality out of the bad endings, to be clear, but, like, you could at least try to make them different from each other. What the hell do you think you're doing?
What am I doing? Well, that should be obvious. But if you insist, I am attempting to leave.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, you do not have a leg to stand on here, pal.
I assure you, I would do no such thing. I am perfectly serious. After a rational assessment of the facts, I have concluded that this is the wisest course of action. What is currently our highest priority? The answer is, of course, to save Quark. He must be taken to a hospital as soon as possible. For that to happen, one of us must escape and call for help. Currently, the only one of us capable of doing so is myself. That is why I intend to escape.
And leave us all behind.
Unavoidable. But as I said, I do intend to call for help.
Couldn't you have at least waited until the next round? Then you could have raised Quark's BP to 9 and taken him with you.
And what would happen if Dio was Quark's opponent in the next round? I have no illusions about what Dio would do. This is the most logical choice.
The number 9 door has been opened. It will remain open for 9 seconds.
Wait! Where's Alice?
Ah, yes. Alice is in the AB room. She has collapsed, but you needn't be concerned. She is only sleeping.
Oh no, what did you do to Alice?
You will need to ask her yourself. I must take my leave.
Hey! God damn it! Wait!
Dio charged at K, but the larger man easily sidesteps him, and yeah, he charged with the man essentially wearing Master Chief Mjolnir armor and decided that he was going to be able to overpower him, because Dio is 200 IQ man plays right here. Well, there you go. That's the Quark ending, or the bad Quark ending.
The number 9 door has closed. This ends the Nonary Game. Thank you for your participation. As the game is over, All doors other than the number 9 door have been unlocked. Escape is not possible. Please enjoy your stay.
Like I said, I don't expect quality out of these endings, but I mean, you could at least try to make them a little different from each other. And yes, I know they're different because in one ending the vial breaks, and the other ending, Clover just manipulates him. I get that the circumstances changed, but they've still fundamentally all been, like, once you strip away all the flowery nonsense, the fundamental plot is still the same. Someone gets to 9 BP, opens the door, and either attempts to or successfully manages to escape. That's basically what the bad endings are. And again, I know that they're not the main endings, but still, it is possible to have bad endings that stand apart from one another. But so far, the game has not proven itself to be capable of doing that. But anyway, the goal that we had in going on that little side quest was we did it. We pulled it off. We obtained the information we needed to break through the second story lock for Tenmyoji's ending. So in the next episode, we're gonna head back. We're gonna jump back to, actually, I guess I can just return. Yeah, right here. Okay, so we're gonna jump back to this point right here, and we're gonna pick Ally instead of Betray. We'll be able to break through the story lock and get the Tenmyoji good ending. Actually, I think we have one more. I think we might have one more room to get through before we can get the ending. But we'll be heading back on track to get the Tenmyoji ending second. Because now we finally have what we need to break through that story locks. And yep, that's about. Also, I like how we haven't even left the yellow door yet. Really, all of our adventures, we still have 2 entirely other base chromatic doors to explore in this game. We still got quite the adventure ahead of us. So yeah, this is gonna be one detailed, lengthy LP, but it'll all be worth it in the end, I'm sure. Once we finally achieve all the endings and can finally start our path down for the true ending. But that'll be for now. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time to catch you all tomorrow for some more Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward. Goodbye.